I'm Jet,
And I'm Jack.
and we are the Roadramblers, back in business after about a 2 week hiatus.
Was it 2 weeks? I can't remember.
I don't even know what's going on. I don't know what's happening anymore.
Yeah, every time we think we have a couple weeks where we can actually sit down and record back to back, it's back to the grind of now school, but
Right, school and work. That
Yeah.
seems to be the main theme with people.
yeah, it's the go-to right now, which is
Right.
fine.
But everybody knows how school is, but not everybody knows how work can be. That's a pretty good segue, I know.
Yeah, that was a pretty good setup. So today in our little establishment of this episode, we're going to talk about, drum roll please,
The most annoying things that have happened to us at work. And when
Yep.
I say annoying, I mean annoying. This will make you legitimately hate people a little more when you have to hear about all the things that mostly Jack has had to deal with.
I love how it's mostly towards me. I mean, but yeah, for your job, you're packing books most of the time, but you've talked to a couple of guests, so
Right. They cut me loose.
now you're back looking for a job, right? What are you looking at? What are you interested in?
Well, I don't know, man. I'm thinking. I don't know. Anything is fine as long as it doesn't involve having to serve people food, I guess.
Oh, I feel you there. My biggest deal was I could not work at a fast food restaurant simply because I would probably never eat at that establishment again because I would know how it's made. I think the only place I would work that I feel comfortable with working if I was to work at a fast food restaurant would have to be In-N-Out because their kitchen's all open, at In-N-Out.
Right.
You can see them cooking and it's pretty clean. Not going to lie. It looks really clean compared to, that big wall of, machines that covers behind the Chick-fil-A or the actual McDonald's kitchen area. So that was maybe the only place I would do it. But yeah, I would hate working at a fast food restaurant. Their chicken sandwich, that was a big thing. The chicken sandwich versus the Popeyes chicken sandwich. I actually watched a review of it. I think it's the Daily Report of the Week or something like that. It's a really good food review guy. It was really funny. And I really don't know. I've never tried the Popeyes chicken sandwich. Were you able to try it before they, quote unquote, ran out of it?
No.
No, you weren't? Yeah. I don't feel like I missed out too much, though.
Anyway, man, we talk about fast food, but neither of us work fast food. I think what I really want to hear about more than anything in the world is what you have to deal with on a daily basis. But I hate to sound like I'm stealing the spotlight, but I haven't worked for nearly as long as you have. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get my two stories out of the way because there's about two, right? And these stories are not as interesting as yours, so just buckle in for a very tame ride. Anyway,
Alrighty, I'm ready.
so you've heard this story already. I walk into work one day, I clock in, and then somebody's looking for a book, right? Or a book order.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not in the right box. See, the order number on the receipt was marked 43, right? Self-explanatory. If it's marked 43 on the bag, put it in the box labeled 43. But get this, they needed help finding it because apparently somebody misplaced it. So what happened was I had to help. And we looked for it, right? We looked all over these rows of boxes for it. And it turns out that it was in box number 81. Box number 43 was in box 81. Somehow, some way. But it wasn't me, I swear. Anyway.
You've been saying that every time you tell me the story. You always make sure to say, it wasn't me.
Because I just want to establish credibility. It was not me, I swear. And I looked at the order anyway. I'm like, shoot, did I do this? But it wasn't my handwriting, so
Yeah.
I couldn't have done it.
Okay.
But I got another story, and it's probably a little bit more annoying.
A little more. Okay. Spit it out. Let's hear it.
Well, we had a line, and we had a basket full of people's receipts that were filed in these little folders. So one day this guy comes up wanting his books. He's standing in line, and I just ask for his ID as per usual. And he tells me that one of his things is back ordered. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. So I look in the box and I find his receipt. And I go in the back and I look for it and I can't find it in the box. I can't find it on the desk. That was of the stuff that was just filed. I can't find it anywhere. It's very strange. So I go back out to ask him to make sure that he either got an email saying it was ready to be picked up or got a confirmation email or something like that. I go back out and make sure he got an email saying that it was ready to be picked up. And get this, Jack. Well, after a few minutes of searching and even asking one of the managers for help, it turns out that this whole time he had all the books he needed. This was after a while of searching and me having to look for a new copy for him, see if we could find it in the store because I couldn't find his order. And then when I show him the book that I think he needs because his receipt's still in the store, he says, "Oh, I got those books already. I have all the books I need for class." And in my mind, I'm like, "Well, why were you waiting in line? I mean, your stuff. He would have gotten an email if his stuff had been received that was back ordered." But I asked him, and he said, "No, I don't think I got an email like that." So, but for some reason, I guess somebody gave him his order, and his receipt was still in the bag. So basically, I spent a while looking for a book for him that he already had.
Wow. So he thought he didn't have a book.
No, he knew he had books. He just...
So why did he wait? Was he just trying to mess with you, or...
No, I think that he had another book right on back order, and I guess he wanted to come check on it, but...
Oh, but he didn't specify to you that he already had the books. He was just waiting?
I don't think he knew, because we had that with customers a lot. Like, when you receive an email from the bookstore saying that your stuff is ready to be picked up, that's when you come wait in line to get it. You don't come before that. But he probably just didn't get the memo.
Oh, so he's just wanting to check up to see if his book was ready.
Yeah, he probably was. And I was just...
Yeah, you were thinking, okay, he has a book that's ready. I need to go find and locate this book for him.
Yeah, and his receipt was still in the bag, but he had the book that was listed on the receipt. So that makes me think that when somebody gave him his order, they probably just forgot to give him the receipt. That's why it was still in there.
Oh, okay.
That's probably what happened. But I just remember, man, I mean, I just took my break after that. I had to.
Yeah, no, I feel you were like, hey, let me go take my break. This was... That was taxing because like to come back and be like, dude, come on. You know, like I know he wasn't in the wrong. He didn't know.
It was just a misunderstanding. I still
feel it feels like it made you work for it. And you're like, I just wasted 15 minutes or whatever it took you
to
look for a book that isn't here, you know?
It was just a misunderstanding.
Mm-hmm.
But it was taxing.
Yeah. Do you think he was a freshman?
No, it wasn't. He was an older guy.
He was an older guy too?
He probably just didn't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It wasn't a freshman, though. He was way too old to be a freshman.
Yeah, okay. That's understandable. But that's not too bad. I mean, yours are a lot more calm than what I deal with at Walmart. So
yeah, the customers weren't bad. I mean, nobody yelled at me, so I'm happy about that.
All right, no, that's all good. And you enjoyed working for the bookstore, though. You liked the hours and everything, right? The
hours were very flexible. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I liked them.
Yeah, well, they had you for almost a month. That was really good.
Yeah, almost a month. It was a seasonal job.
So they had used you, and they're like, okay, you're good to go. So everyone that was seasonal got told, you know, they're good to go. Okay, it's not like they just kicked you out. So
no, we got what do you call it? We got like a little notice, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I always knew it was temporary.
Yeah. No, that's all good. I mean, especially with jobs on college campuses, they're always going to be temporary. I don't think anyone ever gets the same job twice unless you're like really good at it. Like they offer for you to come back. But I know definitely with the work study and everything, those jobs are more towards the people that are going to need it for tuition reduction or things like that. But that's awesome, dude. And best part about it, you made some money. You got some pocket money now that you can either save or, you know, when you want to spend it on something.
Oh, yeah. I've already spent every last penny earned.
Have you really? On what? Your car?
Yeah, trying to fix it.
Paying it back to your dad?
No, not paying it back, trying to fix it, dude.
What are you trying to fix? What happened?
Oh, there's like a little damaged part from when I had a blowout.
Oh, you told me about this earlier. Yeah.
Anyway, what I'm really curious to hear about is what do you have to go through on a daily basis? That's what this podcast is really going to be about. Okay, so this is what the podcast is really about, Jack. This is about you and your experiences working at Walmart.
Very true. Now, here it is. What I deal with on 95% of the time. I want to talk to your manager about the prices. All right, so
Oh, if only it were that simple.
I know, right? There's much more to than little snippet you heard. But before I get to my Walmart times, I want to talk about my experience as an associate, or rather, they call them ambassadors at San Antonio SeaWorld.
Oh,
That was my first job.
right.
Yes. So when I worked at San Antonio SeaWorld, I was what they call a SeaWorld ambassador. So essentially what I did was I helped clean the stadium. Actually, this is just a glorified position of a janitor, a hostess, and I guess customer service representative a little bit, because customers talk directly to you.
Right.
But the main thing I did was I manned different positions during the show. So I made sure people didn't run down to the tanks where the orcas are and, throw stuff in it or taunt the animals. So that was always fun, trying to tell kids, hey, sit down, you can't do that. And them all looking at me like, hey, what are you talking about? So that's always fun, trying to be a parent per se, or having people who stand up. I can't tell you how many people stood up during a show blocking other people's views with their giant Apple iPad just so they could get a shot. And I'd have customers look at me and roll their eyes, and I'd have to go up and say, ma'am or gentlemen or ladies, please sit down. You're obstructing the view for the other guests. And a lot of them just would do it. Some of them would roll their eyes, and I'd be like, what else? You're in the middle of the audience. You're blocking people, obviously.
It's the rules.
It's the rules. But yeah, and then the other customers would all be, well, not customers, visitors of the day, I guess, would be all happy that I told them to sit down. But there were some customers that would take it into their own hand and tell the people to sit down, and I didn't have to do it. Customer would be like, hey, can you please sit down? My son can't see, or something like that. So that was always fun. Fun little story when I was, I think it was one of the, I don't remember what show it was, maybe Electric Ocean, which is one of the seasonal shows they have.
Mm-hmm.
I was standing there and there's this family, I guess they were out of state, they were visiting and they wanted to get a photo. So I was like in the background and their kids were standing by the little gate area. So I like ducked down like, oh no, Jack, because they read my name tag, like, get in there. So I had to stand around for a lot of photos sometimes, people would be like, oh yeah, this is Jack, and they'd ask me all these questions, and I could answer some of the questions about the orcas and the tank and how stuff works.
Are they happy in there?
Yeah, when people ask me about, I think about blackfish or things like that regarding how animals are kept or the orcas are kept at SeaWorld, honestly, I would be like, I don't get paid enough to represent these animals, so I can't really give my opinion on that topic, because I'm not well versed in that. It was a summer job. I'm not one of the trainers. One of the trainers would be more enlightened, I can say, to speak on that subject. So when the customers asked me, I would be like,
I'm not allowed to say.
Yeah, I'd be like, SeaWorld takes good care from what I've seen, because I would be there a lot. And they do show a lot of love, to at least to the orcas that I saw. But that's after all the big scandals and everything. So. Right. But yeah, SeaWorld wasn't too bad of a job. I think my biggest day, I had the most complaints, where I had to deal with a lot of annoyed people. Would have to be 4th of July. 2 years ago? I think it was 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years now.
Wow.
And the whole reason a lot of people were annoyed was obviously it's 4th of July, the park's crowded, but then it started pouring rain.
Ooh.
So before it was the other extreme. It was super hot out. So we wouldn't open up. We do a 45-minute pre-open, which is still 15 minutes before like a half an hour open. Right. So we'd open it up early so people could come and sit inside and get out of the heat. But people would line up even before that 45 minutes, and they'd always be like, can you let us in? Can you let us in? Can you let us in? And I'd be like, I'm sorry, I can't let you in. And then like our supervisor or shift lead would walk by and they'd say, hey, ask him. So they'd ask, hey, can you let us in early? And he goes, oh, we got to wait for the 45-minute mark. And so they'd hear it from them, and they still would ask me, can you open the gate and let us in, man? We won't tell anyone. I'm like, obviously they're going to know if people are in the stadium, if there's just 4 people sitting at the top. That was kind of annoying, but I liked my job. The coworkers were really what kept it going, so I wasn't too worried about that. But SeaWorld is very particular on how they sell tickets. So they have the day pass. They have the day pass with food, or dining rather. They have the season pass. They have the gold pass. All these different tiers of tickets. And so people would buy day passes for food, and it'd be pretty expensive, and they think they got the platinum day pass, which essentially lets you get reserved seating. Mm-hmm. And honestly, you can have a good seat anywhere at the Orca Stadium. And the reserve seats don't get wet. And it's funny because a lot of people want to get wet, at the Orca Splash.
Yeah.
So the reserve seats are all the way at the top of the arena. And it's like good seats to see everything, but you don't get wet at all. So I'm like, why pay all this money just not to get wet to sit up there?
Right.
But they'd always get mad. They say, look at my ticket. And so I'd look at the ticket and it would say dining meal, platinum pass for the day. They get this in reserved, but we'd have a night show called, it was like maybe 3 different things. It was a night show. And they'd look at it and you'd have to buy the reserve seating separately.
Yeah.
So you might have bought reserved for the actual park, but after 9, when the park first say closes and we open up the other section or for the show, that's the seasonal one, you'd have to buy again reserved. So people who bought reserved just for day admission would come and say, I can sit in reserved, right? And I'd have to be like, where my coworkers would have to say, unfortunately not, since this is after park hours, quote unquote, you cannot sit here. And then they get all, huffy puffy. And it wasn't a busy night, we'd let them sit there. But if it was a busy night and people who paid for reserved seating at that show after the park closed actually paid and they had the right to be there, we'd let them in.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but if it wasn't too bad, we'd let them in because, dude, they would get so mad. And I understand that. That's kind of a cheat way to go,
Yeah.
To tell people, yeah, you can buy reserved, but then not to say you have to buy reserved for the show that when the park actually closes is going to happen. So I feel for them. It's kind of like a little bamboozled moment for the customer. I understand that, but as the ambassador, I wasn't allowed to, be like, okay, you can go in. I'm sorry about that. No, they were trying to. SeaWorld wanted to make money, so I wasn't.
Yeah, that is kind of a scummy move.
Yeah, I was one seasonal hire. What am I going to do? But yeah, I got a lot of people who got mad at me and my associates or ambassadors rather about that. But other than that, the job wasn't too bad. I didn't have to talk to too many customers. Mainly what they would ask is like, when's the next show? Where's this? Where's that? Which is pretty fine. And I liked it a lot. It was a good job. But like I said in an earlier podcast, I probably wouldn't do it again. It was a good first job. When people ask, what was your first job? I can say, summer 2018, I worked at San Antonio SeaWorld.
Nice.
With the orcas and this and that. And it's a lot of fun. And people go, oh, wow, how was that? I only tell them the good parts, obviously. But here we're going to get in the nitty gritty of my new job. Well, sort of new. I started it back in May, so it's not too new, but I'm getting there. I'm getting to the point where I think my 6 months is going to come up in a little bit.
Nice.
Yeah, it's still a bit away, but once you hit 6 months, you're essentially full time. So you get all the benefits. They offer you the 401k plan and everything for Walmart, even though I'm just doing this as a side project to actual college.
Right.
But yeah, once I hit that, it should be a lot of fun. But let's get into the part where the customers.
Anyway, from what I can tell, your average day goes something like this, right?
Where is the manager?
That is pretty
I wanna see
accurate.
the manager.
Yes, Malcolm in the Middle has it right.
Yep.
At least for the Walmart I work at. So, little backstory. Walmart, I know a lot of people already know what it is, but it's one of the biggest, commercial, like a chain store, they're big.
Oh, I've never heard of it.
Yeah, Wally World, Walmart,
Discount HEB.
Discount HEB. We have plenty of customers who come say, I'm going to shop at the HEB next time. And some of the older coworkers that I have are savage. They're like, go ahead, ma'am. That's all right with me. As if they speak for the whole company. We're supposed to be like, no, yeah, you can definitely do that, ma'am. But we have better prices, this or that. But no, some of them are just,
Y'all probably do.
Yeah, go do that, But that point, it's actually their job, So they feel a lot more. But yes, I've said this plenty of times, probably in the last one. I do work customer service at the neighborhood Walmart near where I live. And so a little difference between a neighborhood Walmart and the actual super Walmarts. I call them super Walmarts. They call them, I don't remember what they call them, but they're bigger. Fun fact,
the daddy Walmart.
the green Walmarts, or the ones that don't have blue, are going to be your neighborhood ones. Yeah. So we wear green vests, yellow vests, things like that. The blue ones are going to be the big supermarkets. That's where they have TVs, they have their whole appliances and everything. So my neighborhood Walmart, all neighborhood Walmarts, they only carry produce, groceries, and a very, very small selection rather of, technology, batteries, dog food, things like that.
Yeah, like it's a little market.
So a lot of times when I'm at customer service, I'll get a phone call and I pick it up, and this is somewhat how it goes. Neighborhood your local neighborhood Walmart. This is Jack. How may I help you? And the person on the line sounds a little something like this. And they go, yeah, is this the one down by Leslie? And I have to go, no, sir, this is the one on FN 1560 or right down the road. We are a neighborhood Walmart. And I let them know we're a neighborhood Walmart. And then they go on. They totally mishear the part where I say neighborhood Walmart. They go, all right, I'm looking for this. And then they give me insert item we don't carry. So then I have to go, and sometimes I put them on hold just to make it look like I'm actually looking, even though I know we don't sell it. But most of the time I'll just go, yes, sir. Unfortunately, since we are a neighborhood Walmart, we do not have these items because we only carry insert whatever we carry, you know? And then they'll ask me, why don't you carry that? You're a Walmart. And I go, yes, sir, but a neighborhood Walmart. And they're like, what's the difference? And, you know, it's a big deal, especially when people come in the store. That's a lot more interesting. So we have a lot of people who come in and they're walking around, they're looking, they're asking questions to people like the stalkers, and the stalkers know a little bit, but they think customer service is going to help them. And they come over and ask for an item and say, hey, where's this item? And I go, unfortunately, we don't carry car batteries since we are a neighborhood Walmart. That is going to be down the road at the Leslie branch. And so they go, oh, I got to go all the way to the Watt Walmart. And so it's an annoyance for me and the customer. I think it's mutual because I have to be the one to be like, yeah, unfortunately, we don't carry that. And then also for the customer, then they realize you have to go somewhere else, or they say, oh, I'll go another day. Or they say, I'm going to the HEB, like I said earlier. So it's an annoyance on both of our parts. But it doesn't get old telling customers, you know, neighborhood Walmarts don't carry this. But for the people who do know what neighborhood Walmarts carry, they love it. They come in. I have regulars who come and say, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? You know, so it's a lot of fun. They know what they want to get and stuff. A little segue off of the people asking about neighborhood Walmarts and what it carries is also our return policy. I know I'm getting in the nitty gritty, all this stuff about what goes on. So if you buy clothes at a super Walmart or supermart rather.
Yeah, a daddy Walmart. Basically.
Yeah, a daddy Walmart, yes.
Because the big Walmarts are the daddies and... the neighborhood Walmarts, the little green ones, those are the babies. So. Okay.
Good in a little analogy, you know? I like that.
You shop at the baby Walmart, but so, people shouldn't, so because of stuff like this.
Yeah, so when you shop at the daddy Walmart and you get maybe a pair of jeans or a shirt or a bathing suit, which happened a lot this summer, and it doesn't fit or you don't want it anymore, and you come to a neighborhood Walmart where I work and you say, hey, I'm going to return this. And this is the best part. Customers will walk up to the desk and there is nothing nice about the transaction. They come up and they throw their stuff on the counter. They go, yeah, I'm going to return this, or have the receipt right here. I mean, some of them are nice about it and ask, hey, can I return this here? And then we kindly tell them no. They still get mad, but they're like, oh, okay. But there's a lot of customers who come up and just put their stuff up and say, I'm doing a return. You know, and they look all annoyed that they got to go through this process. And it's hard because then I got to be the one, or my coworker or someone else has to be the one that says, unfortunately, ma'am or sir, you cannot return that item here. And so if it's like normal stuff like that, I can definitely be like, yeah, I see the bag of clothes coming up. That's a no. So when they get up, I'm right on it. But there's other items that customers bring that I have the checks. So what I do is I log in on the cash register, I press item inquiry, and I scan it. And if it says not 404, not found, obviously we don't carry it, which means we have nothing in backlog. So our store can physically not take that item and resell it. We do sometimes, and I'll explain that under special occasions. But if they give it to us and it says we don't sell the item there, we can't resell it because despite common belief, all the Walmarts are separate. We are all our own entities. We aren't like working with Leslie's Walmart, you know? So when you come and shop at our Walmart, the products you buy there are specific to that neighborhood Walmart. And if you bring an iPad or you bring clothes, we can't resell that because we have no shelves or areas in our store where we're going to sell that back to the customer, you know? So that's always a fun talk, letting them know. And then they always ask, I'm going to talk to your manager. So my manager comes out and my managers are so cool. I love them so much. And they say the exact same thing. And sometimes it works. The customer goes, oh, fine. They take their stuff. They get all huffy puffy, walk away. Some of them like, okay, I'll just shop, you know. But it's funny because I'll tell them like multiple times. And because they keep asking me, they're like, are you serious? And then I explain, unfortunately, we're in neighborhood Walmart. We can't take this. And then my manager comes out and they say the exact same thing. And my managers, like I said, are awesome. So they come out and they usually aren't as nice about it as I was, because at this point I've already told the customer enough times that it's not going to happen. We can't take it. There's no exception. We're not going to make an exception for you, you know? So then the manager comes over and goes, yes, what our associate Jack here has been telling you is correct. We cannot take this item, blah, 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 blah. They get mad and walk out. So that's always a fun thing. There's always There's always the nice customers that are okay. They come over and they go, oh, that's okay. That I appreciate. So if you're ever, anyone listening, you're ever at a Walmart and they say you can't take it or they can't take it, please don't give them a hard time because they can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't, I'm just an associate. I don't work corporate. I don't work, upper management at the actual store. So I can't do anything. And the people that you go to most likely won't be able to do anything. So that's just one big thing that happens. Funny story, the other day I actually had a shift, what was it, yesterday? It was 4 to 8 and it was raining and it was a lot of fun. I did the carts out in the rain. It was fun. I liked it a lot. But I was going back out to do carts and this older gentleman walks in with a, Great Value is the throw off brand of Walmart. Great Value this or that.
Right.
Just like H-E-B has their own brand. And
like
stuff.
Hill Country Fair and stuff.
Mm-hmm. And so this gentleman walks in and he has a jar of sauerkraut, Great Value sauerkraut, and it looks beat up, man. Like the top of it's all like, it looks like he took pliers to it. And he comes in and he walks over to me and he's like, I can't open this goddamn thing. He's an older gentleman who was like using the cart as a cane. And I was like, oh, sir, I'm sorry about that. And I looked at it and it was all beat up. Looked like he tried to take pliers, right? So he was all mad because he couldn't open it. So my associate says, can you go grab a new one? So I grab a new one. I bring it over. And they asked me to open it in front of him for him. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, I got to make sure I can do this. And I'm like, I'm pretty strong. So I go ahead and I pop it open and he's like, oh, good. And, but then they're like, go try the one he's still standing there. He says, I want you to try the one I couldn't open. And so I go over and I'm like, man, I'm going to look like a fool. So I go ahead and I open it. And then, like I said, I open it and I was like, and I look and everyone's just looking at each other. It's like that stare where everyone's just looking at each other. And he's like, man, he's just strong. And what I think the problem was on the cap, it says seal's broken when it pops, so the noise. So he read that thinking he had to pop the button on the top first. Oh. So he probably took pliers and tried to pop down the actual little button, right? So he did all this and didn't know he could open it. So it was funny because all I had to do was twist it. So, the customer did the walk of shame out. I was doing carts and I saw him with his head down. Like, oh man, I got shown up at the neighborhood Walmart. But yeah.
Poor guy. I actually feel bad for that guy.
Yeah, I think he was an older gentleman, so I think he was, not too in it, Yeah. So he was trying to pop this thing that wasn't supposed to be popped. It just means when it pops, that means the seal's been broken. But we gave him the one I opened in store, so we got a nice little cap that was all clean. We took that one. But yeah, so things like that are always interesting. I have so many more we could do, but we're short on time. So I'm going to get to one of the biggest things that actually does happen in our store and happens around actually the nation. And that's going to be people who steal from our stores.
Oh boy.
So stealing causes shrink. And for anyone who doesn't work at Walmart or doesn't know the term shrink is when the system that the store has doesn't know to order new stuff. And the way the store system knows to order new items is when you check out at a register or you check out a self-checkout. That scanning, that beep, that's the system recognizing, saying, okay, this item has been sold. Once a certain insert amount gets sold, we need to order new ones. Or if this amount gets hit, order new ones. And so if people steal from us, the store doesn't register that item's been taken. So it still thinks whatever items got stolen are still out there. We don't need to order any. And if that happens a lot, that means you have items that aren't there, that customers aren't wanting, that are not being reordered by the system because they are not being assessed or checked on the way out. Yeah. And so since we are a neighborhood Walmart, we are significantly smaller. And we are not big enough for an actual detail security. We might have a cop that comes by once or twice. We have a lot now, but I'll go more into that. That we have, we really don't. And so associates like myself and my coworkers, we can't do honestly jack squat about someone stealing our stuff. If you walk in, grab something, they say what we should do. The associates, what we should do. I think they call it aggressive hospitality. So you have to be, would you like me to scan you for that? Sir, were you able to check out? Fine. Sir, I don't think to scan correctly. Let me do this for you. So I have to form this threat to you. Like, if you're going to steal something, I have to be like, sir, I see you found the bag of Doritos that was left. Would you like me to help you check you out? Would you like me to help you weigh this or that? And honestly, a lot of times that kind of works. Like with older people who aren't trying to steal, they just forgot they didn't scan. Like, oh, I'm so sorry about that. But for kids and for people who know they're stealing, they're just like, they just laugh it off. The only people that can maybe do something is the management, the salaried workers. And that's if they're out there, But we have gotten to the point where we get stolen from enough by a couple of people. We have 2 different groups that we know to steal, that we have a watch out. And so we get hit by this person a lot named the Meat Lady. And we call her that because she always steals large amounts of meat that are out. She just grabs them. Her and her little posse, they carry giant tote bags, right? And they take the meat, put it in, they just walk straight out. And so we've been on the lookout. We got hit pretty hard the other day. I think it was the other day. It was maybe a couple weeks ago. But we got hit pretty hard. We lost a lot from what they took. So what happened was we notified the cops. They took screenshots of the camera times, put out on whatever APB or whatever they call it for these people that are stealing. Because they don't just hit our store. They hit our store, then they go to the one at Leslie. So one near our local high school, there's a giant Walmart. They go and hit that one up. And those are a little hard or easier to do, I would say, because when they don't have cops, that's a huge area that management or the associates have to cover. So if they grab the meat and walk out pretty fast, no one's going to catch up to you, really. At our store, at least, it's very small, 2 doors in, 2 doors out, right? So what happens now is we usually have someone stand and we look for it, or him or her, or the people that are coming, and then we have code words where we let people know the Meat Lady's here. So it's just ways that we protect our store.
Oh, yeah, you should.
Yeah, and so
those people suck.
Yeah, that's more of the, I wouldn't say annoying, more of the frustrating part. It's like this store represents the workers, and if we can't protect our food or the assets that we sell to willing and buying customers, I mean, that it's not good for the company. It's not good for Walmart. Walmart definitely doesn't like when people steal. So that's more of a frustrating part of my job, that I have to deal with people like that. So I guess moral of the story is don't steal. It's not good for anyone. I know that no one's going to do it, but you shouldn't steal. And it just makes the job harder for the people that are there providing the services that they are,
I bet Meat Lady's a radical vegan. She's trying to take down the meat industry.
Right? She just takes it and chucks it in the quarry. She's like, no.
Meat is murder.
This is blood meat. It's like, yeah, you're right. There was blood with this meat. So that wraps up our little, pet peeves, little annoyance, little frustrations that we've had with our work so far.
Well, you have a full-on freaking criminal, dude.
I do. There's a fair amount of them. I have a whole portfolio of things I could talk about that have happened. Working at a convenience store is very interesting. You do a lot of different things, and you see a lot of different things too. My first week when I got there, literally the first day actually, I was doing my work, the CBLs and things to get ready to be prepped to be on the floor, the show floor or the sales floor. And a girl got arrested when the cashiers walked out in handcuffs she was stealing money at increments, different cash registers, and they caught her. And so she didn't get arrested. I don't think she got put in jail, but she got warned, you can't shop here anymore, things like that. Happens again, you get written up. But yeah, that was interesting. I was like, my first day at Walmart, and someone gets booted out, and it was interesting. So I like my job. I hope I didn't make it sound like I don't like my job. I really do enjoy the co-workers, and some of the customers are really nice, but yeah, it has its ups and downs, but I'm really happy with the job I got at Walmart. And I hope you find a good job, man.
Yeah,
I'm excited for you.
I hope so too. Hopefully someone somewhere will recognize my talent.
I think working at the bookstore is really good because you got a little bit of customer service, you got a little bit of stocking, things like this. So it's all good, dude. Get your resume out there. Can't wait to hear what job you get next, man. Well, I'll be looking forward to it.
All right.
That effectively ends our little episode today.
Right.
But yeah, if you see a woman with giant tote bags or, she looks suspicious, let me know, hit us up.
Okay. Good night.